Joining us now is the head coach, Derek Lalonde. How are you doing, Nosy? What's going on?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, boys.
Oh, love to have you on. As always, we talked to you, when you got the job before the season. Very exciting game last night, with obviously Toronto's a terrific team. Matthews didn't play, but they're still really, really good. You had to be pleased what you saw last night.
Very. We've actually played Toronto very well this year. Despite losing to them 2 times before this, we actually, our 2 games we easily could have won. We defended well in those games. Those underlying numbers, our analytics guys, the little minions, the nerds up in the front office, told us, we probably could have won both of those games. But
sure they did.
Both of those games, they're all-star type players were the difference. Last night we were able to turn a tight game. We executed special teams, which has been an issue for us of late, and just was a really good win, and the guys got what they deserved.
When those little minions come down and they say, hey, you could have won those 2 games, do you look at them kind of cross-eyed and go, yeah, no crap?
No, well, it's the other end. Like, for instance, take the Winnipeg game, for instance, and basically it was a poor defensive effort, but we filled the net with 7 goals. And they came down and basically told us we were not very good. And that's more of the contentious, thanks tips. Let me write that down. But that's all part of it.
Yeah, some of the analytics I understand and others I don't. They're really coming. Yeah. To me, it's more so than hockey than other sport. You can see with your eyes who's playing well, right? You don't need the proof. We're not
100%.
good.
You don't have, like the other night we scored 7 goals, but they had all the puck possession. Even last night we got outshot 31-21, but you could tell we had the better of the chances. We're the team with the shots in the slot area, and for instance, we only gave up 1 grade A slot shot against them last night, despite giving up 31 shots. So, you kind of get a feel for it. I think hockey's never going to be maybe where baseball is, because it's not a static sport. It's so fluent. I don't think analytics will ever dominate it like some of the other sports, but it's a great tool, and it's something we've used to make ourselves better here in Detroit.
You guys are 5 points out of the wild card. You're basically at the halfway point of the season. Judge where your team is halfway through.
Yeah, I'm happy. I think if anyone, realistically, with the expectations we had this year, if we were going to be sitting here at a potential 88, 90-point pace, I think anybody would have taken it. The average fan, anyone in our locker room. As a coach, you kind of always sitting there wanting more. It's just the human nature of us. I will say we've had ups and downs with our play. There's parts in the game that have been sporadic. I just mentioned how our special teams been sporadic of late. But I give this group credit. Their compete, their will. I'm not a betting man, but I get depressed every single time I'm watching ESPN and the bottom line ticker comes up, and we're minus 60 every single night. I mean, Vegas isn't into losing money, but I think that says something about our guys that we're sitting here over 500. We feel like we can win every night. It's certainly a work in progress, but we're almost exactly at the halfway mark after Saturday, and I'm pretty darn pleased with this group.
So Stoney asked you, hey, judge your team over the first half. How about yourself? Hey, first head coaching job. You've had a lot of challenges. We'll discuss some of those in just a moment. But how have you been able to self-evaluate the first half of your first season?
Yeah, probably reflect the team. Obviously, there's some areas in the game I'm happy with our staff. We're a much better team defensively. We're hard to play against, much more hard to play against. Last night is those type of wins. We've had a handful of these wins where we just didn't give up the middle of the ice, and we literally go out of this game giving up 7, 8, 9 chances total. Where the average in the league is probably in that 16, 17, 18 range. So there's parts of that. Again, we've had sporadic play within our special team, so it's tough to evaluate myself because it's an everyday. Just the emotional roller coaster of this last week. We played 3 pretty darn good games last week, in which we were defended well. We had great 5-on-5 play, and we find a way to lose every single game. We come out and lay an absolute egg the other night against Winnipeg, and we win. and then we put together a great performance last night. So I think I probably reflect the team, probably a work in progress.
You talk about the defense. I mean, last year for the full season, the goal differential was a staggering minus 82. Right now, you guys are at minus 10. That's a hell of a improvement, isn't it?
The team defense, for sure. I think the play of Ville Husso has given us an opportunity at nights. He's probably exactly like our team. He's had some ups and downs in his games, but when he's been at the top of his game, like he was last night, we're a good team. It's something we emphasize even a little more of keeping the puck out of the net than putting it in the net. And so far, it's been good buy-in, and I think we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I mentioned some of the challenges. Obviously, offensively, you've had a number of injuries. How big of a challenge has it been to generate offense, knowing that the guys you were counting on in the offseason, you went out and signed, some of those guys haven't been available?
Been very difficult. I will say this, though. Everybody goes through injuries. We went through those injuries at the beginning of the year. We literally had 4 to 5, 6 of our top 8, 9 forwards out. This happened to them towards the end of last year. When I say them, the Detroit Red Wings, and they had no chance. The fact that Steve went out and increased our depth, had some sneaky good signings along with some of the top free agent type signings. Even through that time, we kind of stayed above water. We found ways to win in different ways. And now that we start getting bodies back, Fabbri's back, obviously scored 3 goals in his 4 games he's been back. We finally got Tyler Bertuzzi back. We're starting to get some of these bodies back, and I think it's a credit to the guys, but it's more a credit to just having a little more depth that's helped us through these injuries.
I was going to ask you about Fabbri. He's really played well so far. I mean, obviously adds to the power play, so he's been a plus. I was at the game last night. It seems Bertuzzi had chances. He looks, on the big screen, you can't really tell everything, but has he lost a little bit of confidence right now?
I don't know, because I doubt maybe confidence, but the poor guys haven't been able to get any rhythm whatsoever.
Yeah.
Let alone the injuries. People forget he was injured through camp. So he missed the front end of training camp. He gets literally 4 periods in, breaks his hand. He's out for 6 weeks. He gets back. It's a handful of games in, and breaks another hand. He's running out of hands to break. That's a good thing. And then it's just you can't practice. I mean, he's not. His line mates are 40 games in. We have a rhythm as a team. It's really hard to simulate actual NHL game, and I just think this is going to take him some time.
I want to ask you about one other player who probably gets overlooked. I mean, the big publicity he got was when he did the gritty on ice, but Jake Wallman has been really, really good. Has he been a surprise to you?
Yes. Not knowing a lot of him, I knew a little bit of him. One of my college teammates coached him in college. And so I was a little bit familiar with him. Obviously, I got some feedback from him. And he's always had a skill set. He can skate, he can shoot. It's just putting it all together. He's went through some injuries. Really didn't know what to expect, and he's been excellent. And a credit to him as he kept playing better and better and better. We just kept moving up our depth chart. Now he's in the midst of first guy down in the penalty kill, getting the number 1 matchups. He's getting power play time. Now this challenge for him is to keep it at a consistent level, but been a pleasant surprise, and hopefully our staff and him can keep it going.
How about your sophomores, your second-year players? How have you seen them develop? Because there's obviously some challenges that some of them have gone through in their second year. How have you seen Lucas Raymond and Mo Sider continue to develop?
I think they've been excellent. They're going to have ups and downs. They're literally 20 and 21 years old. I think the expectations. I don't know if I use the word fair. They had phenomenal seasons last year, but a lot of it was, I'm not going to say meaningless hockey, but they got to a point down the stretch. It looks a little different from winning hockey, and what I mean by that, now we're asking Lucas to be a little more responsible in his own end. We're asking Mo Sider to take a little more risk out of this game, and they've done that. So I know I get these questions all the time: is Mo having a slump year? And I'm sitting here like he's our best player every single night. He has his ups and downs. I think people just relate it to offense, but you can see there's games he just takes over physically. When we're struggling defensively, he's the one guy getting stops and getting pucks out. I know the pucks went in for him lately with it. He's got 5 or 6 points in the last couple of games, but really happy with both of them. Natural bumps in the road for young players. And, other teams, the players of that caliber, they're coming in on another team in the number 4 or 5 role on D, or they're coming in on the third line. It's just a reality of where we're at. We've asked a lot of those guys, and I think they've done great.
I read somewhere that you intend to have Dan Campbell speak to your team. Is that accurate? And is that process?
I'm hunting him. I'm hunting him, man. I'm hunting him. I want him. I'd like this vibe. I left a message yesterday. I don't know Dan, but I'm no different than anyone else. I watch his interviews. I get inspired. I watch what his team did the second half of the year. I watch Hard Knocks. So great. And just to his personality, my PR guy contacted his PR guy literally yesterday, and he's like, hey, Newsy would like Dan to come talk to the guys. And he told his PR guy, he goes, Newsy does know I've only won 12 games here, doesn't he? It's just this self-deprecating. I thought it was hilarious. Obviously, he's on an 8-1 heater to finish his year. He's doing just fine. But I don't know him yet, but you just love the personality where it's like, is Derek crazy? He knows I've only won 12 games here, but yeah. So I don't know when we'll get it going. I'm going to hunt him down. I'm not going to let him off the hook because I think our guys will love it. We've had kind of a little football theme. Our post award is a football helmet with a couple inspiring words, and we have those Michigan guys in here. Andrew Kopp was an unbelievable football player. Probably could have played Division I football. And I see even some of our guys even got some of the Euros to watch some of the college football here. So I think it would be awesome. And yeah, we're trying to hunt him down. So you let him know we're coming after him.
Well, we got
to let him off the hook.
Well, we got to get my partner here, who actually played for Michigan 10 years in the NFL, national championship team with. You got to go down there, John, and talk to the Red Wings.
Some of the Michigan guys,
whoever, the whole team.
Oh.
We got obviously Larkin and Tom played here, but our video coach, our 2 video coaches, both went to Michigan. One played at Michigan. It was a tough go here on that because we were playing simultaneous in the TCU game, and if there would have been a goalie interference we would have been screwed. In that, those 2 were really invested on the Big Blue that night.
Now, you're from way upstate New York, almost to the Canadian border. Were you born a Buffalo fan, by the way, or was that your team?
Great question. A huge Buffalo Bills fan. I never really had a hockey team. I was passionate about 2 teams growing up. The Montreal Expos, because it was literally 70 miles from my home. We'd go all the time. And the Buffalo Bills. It was just our team, the Northern New York, the upstate team. Huge passion. And I know it sounds crazy, but I've mentioned them, I don't know, a bunch of times. Todd Beam, as you guys know, is a huge Buffalo Bills fan. So we have a blast around here because it is our team. And the Bills sent me a helmet last week.
Oh.
And it was like one of the greatest. It was phenomenal. And I literally was doing some play options with the helmet on in the office the other day. We were having a blast with it. But it was, yes, I'm a huge, I'm more of a fan of individuals. Obviously, I coach the National Hockey League. And so I'm not really a fan of many teams, but the Buffalo Bills are an absolute huge passion of mine.
So can they get it done?
This is the year. I work every day. Beamer and I, we have our little chat on where the state of the union. He's a little more negative than I am. He just keeps bringing up all these injuries on D, which I'm fine. But it's been a blast to watch them grow the last couple of years, and obviously it will be very invested come Sunday through the playoffs.
Well, it's been a blast watching you guys get to where you are. Hopefully, continue. We'll talk to you soon, and good luck tomorrow night against the Blue Jackets before you hit the road.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Derek Newsy Lalonde, head coach of the Red Wings here